What's going on, everybody? So, it's tax season again. Every year we have taxes. Gotta give the government more money for them to spend on things that don't really help the country, but we'll get into that later. As you see here, I have this tax bracket information. This first table is taxable income for single folks. Then you have married with joint filing, and then head of household. For the purposes of this program, we're just going to be working on single taxable income. And the first thing you got to do is you got to plan your logic. So that's what flowcharting is for. I'll write it up here. Flow charting. I've got shitty handwriting, don't mind me. Should have probably installed the drivers for this, but that's okay. So we need a program that we need to do things like figure out, okay, how much money are you making? Are you making 0 to 10, 0 to 9 grand, or are you making over $500,000 a year? Because that's very, very obvious why, if you're making a certain amount, you get taxed a certain amount. So we have to tell the computer to make that distinction on how much you tax. We also have to tell the computer that for each percentage here, say you make, say you're at the bottom end of the bracket, and you make $932. Or I'm sorry, if you make, let's say you make $9,325 in a year. All the IRS is going to do is tax you this 15% right here. If you make more than $9,325 but less than $37,950, then they tax you anything over $932. They take 15% of, basically. And it works out the same way for all the other amounts as you go further up. If you're in the millions, this is definitely not going to be a video for you, because you probably have already paid somebody to do your taxes and have gotten your humongous return already a long time ago. So, for those of us who don't want to pay for TurboTax or don't make $1 million, this is for you guys. I wonder if there really is one person watching this, or if YouTube just puts up that one watching just to, make me feel like I'm talking to somebody even though I'm really not. Which is cool. I appreciate that. So we're gonna have to tell the computer to get the annual income. And for those of you watching, this is not a spelling lesson, this is math and programming. We can get to grammar and spelling later. This is just a draft, this isn't final. I know there's 2 ends in annuals. And this is also isn't an art class either. So we need to get the user's annual income. Then we have to make a distinction of how much money they make. So we'll refer back to this right here. We'll do an estimate of 10 grand. If not, we'll draw another one down here. And we'll do another estimate for 40 grand. And then for the 28%, we'll go ahead and do 92 grand, 92,000. And this still is not an art class. And then we'll go ahead and bump it up to 200,000. And then we'll do 500,000 for the last one. $500,000. We'll go up to $500,000 for those of you who are ballers. I mean, if you're, if you make that much, you're probably not watching this. So flowcharting is the key to programming, really. It's where you work out the logic and your arguments and everything, and you really figure out, you want to make sure your logic is correct before you start programming in the logic. Otherwise, it's illogical, it's irrational. Ha 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 ha. So this is, the very first step, which is, creating what I'm doing is I'm going to eventually tell the program, hey, we're going to request the annual income, the gross annual income from the user, and we're going to have the computer make a decision, okay, was it less than 10 grand? Was it less than 40 grand? Was it less than 92,000? Was it less than 200,000? Was it less or more than, was it less and more than all these values? Because that's going to dictate your tax rate. So we're then going to tell the computer which specific tax bracket you're in. And so that way we can create an if-then statement. We'll use this information. We use all this information. We'll use all this information to figure out what tax bracket you're in. So for example's sake, we'll use a W-2 of mine from what, 2013, from a job that I worked at Giant Food, and I had made $28,362.52. So let's open up Excel. We'll deal with that later. So I made what, 28.83. Oh, we don't want to do a decimal. 28,362.56 in 2013. Cool. And the next thing we'll do is we need to figure out what tax bracket I'm in. So if I made 28 grand, roundabout, 28,000, so that's the 15%, 15% tax bracket. Cool. So the instructions for that are as simple as subtract $932.50. Awesome. So we can do a formula for that because I'm lazy. Minus 932.50 if I'm correct. Yes. And this is how much money I have after I take that out. So the next thing I have to do is I have to, then it tells me that I'm going to owe 15% of whatever is over $9,325. So I gotta go back again to A3 minus 9,325. So then I go ahead and I calculate the percentage of, I have to take 50% of that off of this number. So what we'll do is we'll do equals again. A5 times 0.15. Enter. So to review, this is how much I've made. Here, I'll even write it. This is gross income. This is after 932.5 deduction. And then this is after $9,332 $35 $9,325 deduction, and then this is 15% of second deduction. Or 50% of amount over, because again it says you subtract, your $932.50, and then anything over $9,325 you get taxed at 15%. So again, my gross income was $28,362.56. After my initial $932.50 deduction, I'm left with $27,430.06, and then I get taxed on anything on any more money that I've made over $9,325, and then that 15% comes out to $2,855.60. We'll round down to 60. We'll round up just in case because it's the IRS. We'll round up to 64 cents. And then the next thing I have to do is minimize that. So then we'll go ahead and calculate it all in Excel real quick. Go ahead and stretch you out too. So then what we'll do finally is we'll take A4 minus A6 and this is how much money you'll be left with after the fact. This is how much money you'll be left with after the fact, and then we'll go ahead and calculate how much this will be. Your net pay, basically all the money you've paid after taxes. So then we'll go ahead and calculate how much you are paying in taxes. And that is simply 932.5 plus your 15% A6. Enter. So you're paying. So I paid about $37.88 in taxes for that year, or according to 2017 standards. That's how much was taxed. How much tax was taken away from me that year. And that's generally how it works. So this is a good way to plan your logic to get ready to write a program. And same with this. Flowcharting is very important. If you can flowchart in general, you can pretty much write any program in any language, because that's really the key, is working out the logic and everything from the get-go. So the more technical stuff is figuring out writing the statements for writing if-then statement or if or else statements for these right here. which is simple as well. But that should conclude this. Thank you for watching. Look out for part 2 and part 3, and possibly a part 4 to sum everything up.